thank you. How are you, Dave?
Better than I deserve, sir. What's up?
Well, my wife and I have just made over into baby step 3, and so we're very excited about that. And we received some unexpected news, and that we are actually expecting twins.
Wow,
So,
wonderful.
quite surprising. So my stress levels increased a little bit, obviously, but currently, as I said, we're just now starting to boost our savings. We only have about $4,000 with savings right now. In our monthly budget, we're able to free up about $3,000 per month. And now we're wondering, should we try to allocate that extra money we freed up to start feeding our HSA in the expectation of these medical expenses that will be upcoming? Or should we just try to feed that HSA with the pre-tax wages from our wife's work and free up some of that savings to take home just for discretionary spending?
And all HSA contributions are pre-tax. Whether they run through wages or otherwise, they're all pre-tax. You can deduct them on your tax return when you file out your tax return. Fill out your tax return. If you don't take them as a pre-tax wage earner, either one's fine. I would not put more in the HSA than you've actually calculated your out-of-pocket for normal labor and delivery will be. So whose insurance is she under?
She is under
yours or hers? Yours or hers?
It's hers.
Okay. Does her insurance at her company cover normal labor and delivery?
I believe so, yes.
Does it cover 100%? A lot of them do.
I believe a lot of it, 85%, I believe.
Okay, you need to find out exactly, and let's not believe and guess. Okay, find out exactly what's covered, and multiply that out by real numbers, and talking with your OB, and go, okay, what's my normal delivery cost? I got to cover 15% of that. Put that amount in the HSA, but don't build your emergency fund in the HSA.
Right.
Here's why. Here's why your emergency. Here's why your emergency fund will cover anything. HSA has to be spent only on medical, or you're going to get taxed and penalized big time pulling money out of there that you put in there. And so any expenses you know you're going to have that you run through there, you're only paying for 70 cents of every dollar, because the government, since before tax, government's taking their taxes off. So by being pre-tax, you're saving 30 cents on every dollar. But you're not saving 30 cents on every dollar of something else that comes up that your policies don't cover, or that doesn't fall under medical heading. So whatever normal delivery cost out of pocket would be, given your exact situation, what do you got to pay? Put that much in the HSA, put the rest of it in just a big pile of money, because I want you to use that money on baby step 2 when she comes home and baby's healthy and you didn't need the money. But when you get through the pregnancy and you push play again on your total money makeover, you push the play button again, then you take all the money out of savings down to $1,000 again, and you can't take the money out of that HSA to throw it at your debt. So we're going to start your baby step 2 and knock out your debt when she comes home and baby comes home healthy. Babies come home healthy in this case. Alicia is in Wilmington, Delaware. Hi, Alicia. How are you?
Hi, dude. I'm doing well. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Great. I just have a quick question for you. A couple months ago, I talked to you regarding term life insurance, and I have that in place. I did all the medical stuff. But over the weekend, I received a advertisement from, let's just say, a roadside service company for group term life insurance application. And basically, it's the same amount of coverage for about $50 less a month with no medical exam. And I'm wondering what I should be looking for to see if this is, like, not a scam.
Well, there's something wrong with that. I mean, because if there's typically no medical, or you either paid way too much for your term. Did you buy it through Xander?
I did, but the problem is my weight of medication that I take, there was a couple of things that kind of raised my rate a little bit.
A little bit or a lot?
A lot. Let's say it's about $80 a month for only $300,000 coverage.
Okay, so you got super rated because of your weight and your medications. And so, but because typically a no medical check policy, like those are basic gimmick policies. The only time I'd recommend those to somebody that's uninsurable, because they're typically so much more expensive than non-rated policies. But like AAA, if that's what you're talking about, there's nothing wrong with buying a term policy through AAA for the same amount of coverage if it's cheaper. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But what that says is that your health is bad, really bad.
Yeah, it's not great. I'm working on that.
Okay, from a term life insurance statistics standpoint, I have no idea, but I mean, they've rated the crud out of you, is what that, because normally that stuff is double what anybody else would pay.
He's also the author of the fantastic book, War with Russia, From Putin and Ukraine to Trump and Russia Gate. Professor Kingman, thanks so much for coming on today.
Hi, Tucker.
So I just want to be clear with the Steele dossier. I don't want to relitigate, the years that we spent talking about this, but now that the standard in Washington is soliciting information from foreign governments as an impeachable offense, the Steele dossier, which was the basis of the Russia investigation, was that information in whole or in part from foreign governments?
Well, by the way, the first time we met on your program was 2.5 years ago when the Steele dossier was published. I think it was January 2017. And we talked.
I hope not, but I've been hearing a lot about needing to change the way that you plan your retirement so that you can make sure that you can eat in your own home and you don't have to go into a nursing home, and that your retirement will last you and you won't be a burden on people. And I have no idea when to start thinking about that versus just talking to a financial planner.
Hey, Costello, this telegram is from Jim DiMaggio. Listen to this. Dear Lou, as you know, I am recovering from a foot operation. I would appreciate you.
Get to Old Navy Saturday for 50% off all sweatshirts. Frost-free puffer vests for $15 for adults, $12 for kids, and leggings. Just $8 for women, $5 for girls. Saturday at Old Navy. Valid 10/5, select vests only. 50% off excludes in-store clearance, active and licensed.
And either you deal with it or you don't. But the notion that Trump is doing something uniquely un-Trump, that he's actually created a plan to manipulate the election with outside forces, I'm not seeing the evidence of that quite yet. Now, maybe the evidence comes out, and as we'll get to today, we're going to talk about the text messages between various Trump officials. Were they, in fact, threatening Ukraine, that they were going to come after Ukraine to aid or their relations with the United States if they didn't investigate Joe Biden? And was that part of a broader anti-corruption effort, or was it just President Trump wanting to target his political opponent? That's unclear, too. Get to all of that in just a few minutes. First, let's talk about the fact that if you are using public Wi-Fi, your data is exposed. There are lots of people who are looking to grab a hold of that data. I'm talking about hackers and governments. I'm talking about big tech. Lots of people want your data. Why? Well, because they can use that data. They can monetize that data. Sometimes they are stealing directly from you. Now, there's a flaw called crack in Wi-Fi. It's spelled with a K. And it's not too hard for hackers to use that to go after all your material. This is why you should be using ExpressVPN. Now, I use ExpressVPN every time I use my computer or phone. All you need to do is download the ExpressVPN app on your computer or smartphone. You tap one button, and you've now secured 100% of your network data, and then you can use the internet the way you normally would. ExpressVPN is incredibly reliable. It's the fastest VPN service I've tried. They're also rated the world's #1 VPN provider by review sites like TechRadar and CNET. ExpressVPN takes privacy and security to the next level. So go check them out right now. And I use ExpressVPN because I don't want my data subject to anyone else's review. Go check them out right now at expressvpn.com/Ben for 3 extra months free with a 1-year package. Protect your internet today with the VPN I trust to keep my data safe. Again, go to expressvpn.com/Ben to get started. That's expressvpn.com/Ben. Okay, so meanwhile, the big story of the day obviously is these text messages that were revealed by House Democrats that seem to suggest that there was, in fact, a quid pro quo with the Ukrainian government. Now, was the quid pro quo about corruption generally, which wouldn't be a problem because Joe Biden did that, or would that be about Biden specifically and targeting Biden specifically? Well, a lot of Republicans today are saying, well, if the texts are that damning, why don't we have all of them? The House Oversight Committee, Republicans, tweeted out today